All right, guys, what's going on? Garrett Johnston here again, giving you some tips. It's episode 2 of some fantasy tips here on golf and Wildlife Country Club, Sony Open. We're looking after this week. There's a lot to look ahead to. There's a couple guys I want to tell you about DraftKings and give you advice there. Couple DraftKings picks as well as one and done. I mean, that's what I'm focusing on here for this. But you know what? Before I get to this, I want to say a thank you to Tim Rosefort. You guys would have all seen him on the Golf Channel. He wrote for Golf Digest, Sports Illustrated, so many different outlets over the years. Such a good guy. And I'll tell you the reason why he just passed away, unfortunately, yesterday, age 66 from Alzheimer's. And the thing he always did, he always lifted up people around him, especially younger journalists like me. I'll give you a perfect example. I remember in 2015, covering my first British Open, I asked Ricky Fowler a question in the press conference, and I was long-winded. And I didn't think through the question, and it took forever to come out for me. And after that presser, he pulled me aside. He said, "Garrett, listen, just be more concise. You got this. Just be more concise with the way you ask questions." And ever since then, there's been so many things I learned at the U.S. Open 2018 at Shinnecock Hills. There was a moment where it was me and Rosefort at 9 p.m. after 14-hour day. And that, you know how long those days are. The first 2 days of U.S. Open, it was Friday. And there we were at 9 o'clock, and we interviewed an unheralded pro. His name was Mickey Demorat, and me and Rosie waited around for him. And Rosie told Mickey, he said, "Listen, thanks for this interview. I really appreciate it for my story. And it's an honor to be able to tell your family's story. Your dad's caddying for you this week. It's an honor." We're talking about the Tom Brady of golf journalism, talking to a little known pro and thanking him for his time and the way that he did that. It just shows you the humility that Tim Rosefort had. So I just want to say thanks to Tim and all he gave back to so many of us. It really says a lot. So there we go. Tim Rosefort, big thanks to him. Let's go to Sony Open here. Let's look at I'm going to go with Webb Simpson. This is unabashed. This is my guy for this week, and he's 36 years old. When we look at DraftKings, he's 10,500 of where he's at. This is a perfect player for this course. I mean, you want to talk about his last 2 full field starts. He's got the form, right? T14 at the CJ Cup and T8 at RSM Classic. But this course, as I mentioned, is perfect. 11 starts at the Sony Open. 7 times he's finished in the top 15. That is an unbelievable clip. But let's take it even closer. Let's look at his scoring average in his last 3 starts at Sony. Okay, these finishes T4, 3rd, and T4. Okay, this is why I'm bullish on him. His scoring average in that time, 66.33. Name me another player at any course on the PGA Tour and trending in those last 3 starts at that course that has that kind of advantage. Almost 6 under par is what he's looking at. So he's such a good pick. I love him at 10,500. There's so much to like. I think also the other thing too, he narrowly missed a playoff in 2020 when he finished solo 3rd. He had a 15-footer that would have gotten him to a playoff eventually with Brendan Steele and eventual winner Cameron Smith, and it didn't make it, but still, these are not just backdoor top 5. That's the point I'm making here. He's really a factor in these events. So Webb Simpson, I would go with him. The other guy that really sticks out to me, a guy I've known for a while, $7,400 on DraftKings. You got Denny McCarthy, 28 years old. He's been on the PGA Tour since 2017, 2018. So it's about time for a win is the way he looks at it. I texted him today. I said, "How hungry are you to get a win on your first win on the PGA Tour?" One-word answer. Very, period. I mean, this guy is ready. He's knocking on the door. Here's another thing he said. It's a throwback to Tim Rosefort because he always did this with his sources. But he said there's some things he can get better at mentally and physically, some aspects of his game as well. But I know I can win right now. You got to love hearing that. And I'm trying to give you this insight here as we talk about making our picks. I want to give you firsthand information from these sources as to what they're thinking about right now. And he says he can win right now. He's ready to do it right now. Look at how he's tracked going into this week. In the month of November, his last 3 starts, T15 at Mayakoba, T11 in Houston, and T10 at the RSM Classic. This guy is getting it done. Here's an important stat for this course. Shots gained putting. My good friend Rick Rungood, Rick Gaiman, as you see him on CBS, he's got his podcast as well about fantasy picks. This guy has got the whole fantasy golf thing cornered. He's the great source there. But one thing he pointed out for this week is shots gained putting is one of the biggest predictors of success of a winner in this tournament. Shots gained putting, when we're talking about Denny McCarthy, This guy is right up his alley. First in that department in 2018, 2019. How did he do the next year, 2019, 2020? Oh, yeah, he was first there as well. This season, he's 25th. I mean, listen, putting can be a little finicky, but this is one of the proven best putters on the PGA Tour since he got here 5 years ago. So I love Denny McCarthy in this regard. You have to keep an eye out on what he could do here this week. In terms of fading, at 8,600 on DraftKings, Jason Kokrak. He's a great bomber of the ball. Another thing that Rick Gehman talked about this week in terms of factor, driving distance, shots gained with driving distance is not a big factor for this course. And that's one of the big calling cards for Jason Kokrak, one of his strengths. He finished dead last, as we mentioned last week, tournament champions. So he's not really got the form, and also the distance is just not going to play into his advantage this week. So I would fade Kokrak there at 8,600. For this week. So that's kind of our DraftKings picks. That's how we're looking at when it comes to DraftKings. And now I'm going to look at one and done. And how can I not pick Webb Simpson for one and done? Okay, this guy, we could look at some of his best places on the PGA Tour. Some of his absolute top 5 places, I would say. Harbor Town, Phoenix, Sony this week often gets forgotten because he hasn't won there. Wyndham, RSM, those are kind of 5 really well known. Of course, those really come to mind to most of us. This is where you play Webb Simpson for your one and done. Why? 66.33 is his scoring average the last 3 starts at this tournament at Waialae Country Club. I mean, you name me another PGA Tour player, as I mentioned, another PGA Tour player who has this kind of success in scoring average trending in his last 3 starts at a course like this. This is his venue. He almost won here. He was 3rd, as I mentioned, in 2020. 1 shot out of a playoff. He had a 15-footer he had to make on the last hole. He just narrowly missed it. This guy loves this golf course. It sets up perfectly for him. 7 top 15s in 11 starts. He is your guy. Webb Simpson is your guy to start for one and done this week. Don't wait till Phoenix. Now is the time. Seize the day. Go with Webb Simpson. So those are my picks for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch up soon here with Fantasy Golf Insight here, and hope you enjoy the week.